Welcome back to another video. I wanted to do this project as a special gift for a special someone, a replica of a 1966 Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. I am replicating this car here in this picture. And this is of my dad and his friend, and this is the car he had when he was in his teens and early 20s, and he used it to drive around and go up in the mountains to go skiing. And this is what we're starting with, is sort of a die-cast model that found in a antique store. Of course, it's yellow. We're gonna use some primer here. I like this fine surface primer from Tamiya. And I found an approximate blue color from Tamiya as well. I really like the Tamiya colors because they lay down really nice. First thing we got to do, of course, is go through and we got to remove all this trim, or as much of it as we can, to eliminate as much taping as we have to. So I'm using my old soldering iron to melt the backside of that holds the headlights, taillights, and some of the different trim. As you can see, that's how it was originally installed from the factory. Taking out all the grill pieces and everything. And now there was one decal that I definitely wanted to save here, the little Karmann logo. And I'm just using a razor blade here to very carefully peel it up and hopefully not damage it. And we got it off without taking it out. Now I need to take the windshield out, and this is something I learned from some of the Hot Wheels restorers, as they drill out the rivets and then you can pop these windshields out. As you can see, I'm going to make a little bit of a mistake here, and oops, we broke the tab. But that's okay, because we're going to glue this back in. So we just drill out these other areas, these other rivets, and we can pull the windshield out. It just pops out with a little bit of pressure. I wished I'd drilled that other one a little bit more, but it's not going to be seen at the end here. Now, just a couple of screws takes the doors off, the hood, and the trunk or the deck lid. And before we get to painting or priming and taping, I want to use some wax and tar grease remover because I've been handling this with my dirty hands and everything. And I want the masking tape where I have to mask to stick, but also for the paint to stick and not have any imperfections. This step here, the preparation before even priming, is probably the most important step for a quality paint job, no matter what you're doing. I would lay down 3 coats of blue, and off camera I would tape and paint the roof white. Laying down nice even coats, and you see off camera I mid-mask off so we could get the roof that nice white color because it was a two-tone car. And looks like my masking job worked really well on those taillights, which are glued in there. I did not want to break them trying to get them out, so I just taped around them. Now it's just installing everything in the reverse it came out, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget the windshield wipers. They get tucked underneath and are held in with the windows, the front glass. And just using a little bit of super glue or CA glue here to glue them back into place. The different trim parts and even the windshield. And the little turn signals and marker lights are installed the exact same way. For the headlights, I like to use a little bit of Aleene's tacky glue because I did not want the CA can sometimes cloud the clear plastic. That's a little tip I've learned from other modelers. Now with the chassis, we're going to install a Judson supercharger, which was a popular upgrade for more power. It almost doubled the horsepower of this engine, which isn't saying much because it made about 47 when it was new. And I used my 3D printer and 3D modeling software here, modeled up some parts that approximate it in this scale, and then printed them out on my 3D printer. But I have to remove that carburetor and the original air intake tube. And you'll see here, I'm just going to take a razor blade. We've got to cut some of the plastic away to fit these parts that I 3D printed here. Installing this supercharger on here is going to be kind of the finishing touch of this model to make it accurate. That's a unique feature. Did not come factory, obviously, but it is something that my dad put on this car, obviously, to give it more power for driving in the mountains or just going down the highway. And this part just kind of removes like that, so we just need to cut it apart. And there's my little pulley and centrifugal supercharger, and just using a little bit of glue, kind of glue it in the approximate location where it will fit. And then we'll glue the carburetor to it, and then the new air cleaner, and then the little lubrication bottle that uses actually Marvel Mystery Oil to lubricate the supercharger while it's running. And this is just a little bit of a mock-up before we get to painting it, and did this off camera. This is what it looks like. Added some battery cables and other little details in there to make it look a little more finished when you open that deck lid to look at the engine. Now this is the base that it came with, and I used some Sculptamold to make a place. I want this to look like it is in the parking lot of a ski area, so we're going to put Mod Podge down, and then I'm going to do a snow effect using some cornstarch and even baking soda and different kind of white powders to approximate some clumpy snow that would be found in a ski resort parking lot here. And just using a dry brush to sort of make sure it gets all excess gets all on the Mod Podge, and then stipple it up, and then we spray it over. And here is the finished product. And I found this picture behind of the parking lot of Winter Park Ski Resort at around the period that this car would be in. And there's a little Easter egg in the background. You can see a Porsche 912, which is sort of the sister car to this car. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Get subscribed.